Welcome to this class of Commerce 2. Today we are going to discuss about one of the forms of business organization. So the form of business organization we are going to discuss about is the sole trade or sole proprietor. Or sole proprietorship. So this is a form of business organization formed by one person. That is why we are calling it a sole trade or sole proprietor. It is also being characterized by the person forming that kind of business. So meaning this kind of business is only run by one person, all the activities being done by one person. The next thing that we're supposed to know is the characteristics of a sole trade. Remember, we've said that this kind of a business is the one that is being created or formed by one person. So one of the features is there is only one person. And this the person we are saying it is the owner of the business. So it is always a simple business to start and also to run. Number two is capital is contributed. Capital is contributed by one person, the sole proprietor, the person that we are saying it is starting this kind of a business. The other thing is the owner enjoys profits alone. Since we don't have any other person, the profit that accrues to this kind of business is going to be shared only by one person. That thing is there is what we call unlimited liability. That is, the burden of the business is always taken up by one person. So in case of anything that maybe it's supposed to be done in form of compensation, then it is the only person or the only owner of the business who is going to suffer in this form of business. The other thing is there are always few legal requirements that you're required to start this kind of a business. That is, you need only to have the capital and also the permit from the government. So after obtaining the permit, you can continue operating your business. Unlike a situation whereby you are having a company whereby you're supposed to have the licenses. After doing incorporation or registration of the company, you must have to obtain the trading license. So for this one, you need not to have the trading license, but have just permission by the authorities. And also, you can say it is flexible. Talking about flexibility, it's a shoe whereby you can start any other business without facing a lot of difficulties, because we've said the capital contributed is always minimum or less. Therefore, you can start another business that you wish that you see it is the best. Then you also need to understand about the formation. How is this kind of business formed and how can it be run by the person? So in this case, we've already talked about the legal requirements, and in this case, it is only the permission that we require from the government for us to operate. Another thing is now raising the required capital, and finally applying for the license. So in this case, we can talk about the legal requirements, we can talk about the capital, and now application of the same requirements that is required for this business to run on successfully. Then we also need to understand about the sources of capital. Like in any business, to run on successfully, there must be resources to be used. So the first one is the owner's contribution. Number two is the owner's savings. We can still talk about leasing and renting personal property. We also have donations from friends. We have retaining the profits. So apart from donations from friends, we can still talk about employing back or retaining the profit. So instead of now removing the profits that you attained in the business, you can now have to retain them. We also have the advantages and disadvantages of this form of business organization. So we can start by seeing the advantages of a sole proprietor. One, it is flexible. So if the business is not doing well, you can easily discard it or dissolve it and have a new one. The thing is, it requires a small capital. So you need not to have much of the finances for you to run this kind of a business, but a small capital. Even having 1,000, you can still start this kind of a business. Then you can still say the owner enjoys profits alone. So there is no competition about the profits that the business will have accrued. We can still say that there are few legal requirements for the business to be started. The other thing is decision making is easy. Decision making is easy because it is only one person making decision as compared to any other business whereby maybe we have more than one person studying the business. We also have the personal contact with the customers. So in any business, there is need to know the feedback from the customer. So if the customer is complaining, then you are likely maybe to solve the problem before it becomes a disaster. So those are some of the advantages of sole proprietorship. We also see disadvantages of the sole proprietorship. One, unlimited liability. So talking about unlimited liability is all about if you default, then your property is going to be sold in order to compensate now the person that requires some compensation. The other thing is insufficient capital, meaning this kind of business cannot be expanded easily because the capital which just mentioned is always small. Therefore, for it to expand, it is very difficult. Then the owner of the business always lacks recreation or time with the family. So you'll find that this person will always be doing this or a business, and therefore the family at some point is going to suffer. Another thing is lack of continuity. For this case, we can say this kind of business is brought to an end upon the death of the owner. So if the person dies or maybe this person becomes incapacitated, then that business needs to be brought to an end. And the last one is that lack of specialization. So in this case, if there is no specialization, it means the productivity that is going to be seen in that business is not the best as compared to maybe a company and a partnership whereby we have those people who are special in a certain fields. That is all for this class.